Archangel Michael says, a shocking deal is made behind your back. This is about your future. God is very angry at your daughter. Open this immediately. Listen to me now, beloved soul of the living light, because the air around you is trembling with something you have not yet seen, something you have not yet understood, something that has been breathing behind your back for longer than you realized. I come not in calmness today but in urgency, with wings that burn like blue fire and a voice that carries the weight of God's thunder. I am speaking to you because a moment has come that cannot be ignored, a turn in the road that cannot be delayed, a truth that has been hidden from you by the hands of those you trusted most. A shocking deal has been made behind your back. Yes, I speak this with authority, with heavenly clarity. A decision, an agreement, a whispered promise in a room you were not invited into. A choice involving your future, your path, your destiny, and you were left out of it. Not because you do not matter, but because someone hoped you would not notice, someone believed you would not feel the shift. But you did. That strange heaviness last night. That sudden tightness in your chest. That unexplainable sense that something was off. That wasn't imagination. That was me pressing against your spirit, urging you to open your eyes because something moved in the shadows and it has everything to do with you. I need you to stay with me, child of God, because this message is not soft, and it is not small. Heaven bends toward you in this moment. The veil between realms thins as I speak. A warning is upon you, and yet inside it there is protection, inside it there is mercy, inside it there is a chance, your chance, to redirect something before it hardens and becomes unchangeable. There is a divine clock ticking. You feel it in your ribs already, that rising sense of pressure, as if your heart knows something your mind hasn't caught up with yet. I am the bridge between them now. I am the one carrying the truth to you. A decision about your future has been made without your consent, and this decision carries consequences that ripple far beyond today. Someone stepped into territory that did not belong to them. Someone spoke on your behalf when heaven had not given them the authority. Someone tried to shape your tomorrow without being entrusted with that power. And though they think no one saw, though they assume the darkness hides them, though they believe their motives will stay buried, I saw. God saw. The angels assigned to your life saw. Nothing done in the shadows stays hidden before the throne. And now I must speak on something even heavier, something that may sting at first but will heal you in the end. Do not run from it. Do not close your heart. Do not resist. I speak not to shame, but to awaken. I speak not to condemn, but to correct. When I say, God is angry at your daughter, understand this through the eyes of heaven. This is not wrath against a person but divine frustration toward the choices she is making, toward the path she is stepping on, toward the influence she is allowing to sway her actions. Heaven is not angry at her existence. Heaven is grieved by her direction. God's anger is the fire of love trying to pull her back, not the fire of destruction trying to push her away. Feel the distinction. Understand it deeply. She is His creation. She is His beloved. But she has stepped into something she does not fully understand, and her decisions are now bleeding into your life, into your peace, into your future. Her involvement in this deal, yes, the one crafted behind your back, has stirred a heavenly response, because what she has allowed herself to participate in carries spiritual weight she is not ready for. She is influenced, guided by a voice that is not of the light. Not evil, but confused. Not malicious, but misled. And because she is emotionally entangled in something she should have stepped back from, she has done something without considering the ripple it would send toward you. She thinks she is helping. She thinks she is preventing something. She believes she is acting from care, but fear is driving her, not wisdom. Fear is whispering lies to her, pushing her into agreements she would never make if she were standing in clarity. And this fear has opened a door that heaven now needs to close. This is why I have come. This is why you were pulled to this message at this exact moment. Heaven has been trying to reach you, and now it is time to speak plainly. Something about your future, something sacred, divinely aligned, timed perfectly by God, was disrupted by human interference. A blessing that was meant to reach you without obstacles has been diverted, delayed, or distorted because of someone stepping into a role that was never theirs to take. This is not to blame. This is not to create anger in you. This is to reveal truth so you can reclaim what is yours. There is a destiny thread with your name on it, a divine assignment woven into the fabric of your life. You have felt it for years, that sense that something greater is meant to unfold, that something important is waiting on the horizon, that God has been aligning things in silence, preparing the ground beneath you. That destiny was not cancelled, but it was interfered with. And now heaven is repositioning you. You must prepare yourself emotionally, spiritually, mentally, because the truth that is coming in the next few days will shake you. Not to break you, but to free you. Not to wound you, but to wake you. The truth will arrive suddenly, like cold water on warm skin, like a door slamming open in a quiet hallway. It may come through a conversation. It may come through an unexpected message. It may come through a moment that feels strangely timed. But when it appears, your spirit will recognize it instantly. You will feel the resonance of heaven in your chest, the confirmation that what you suspected was right all along. I need you to listen closely now. The shock of what was done behind your back could pull you into anger, sadness, disappointment, confusion. But you must not let your emotions drown out your discernment. I stand by your shoulder as you read this. My sword is drawn. My wings are spread. I am here to defend, guide, and redirect your path. I will not allow this interference to sabotage your destiny. I will not allow fear to rewrite what God has written. I will not allow manipulation, confusion, or secrecy to hold authority over your future. But you must stay awake. You must keep your spirit open. You must not shut down the moment the truth reaches you. Because the very person whose actions have stirred divine frustration, your daughter, is also someone God intends to restore, protect, and redirect. She is involved, yes, but she is also redeemable. She is part of the story, but she is not the villain. Her heart is strained. Her fear is loud. Her judgment is clouded. And heaven wants to bring her back into alignment as much as heaven wants to protect you. This situation is not meant to break your family. It is meant to repair what has been silently cracking for years. Hear me, the sacred must be protected. Your destiny must be protected. And your daughter's soul must be protected. This situation touches all three. Say, the Lord Himself is my mighty shield, if He's guarding every corner of your heart. This is why God's anger rose, not against her, but against the spiritual influence pressing on her choices. Heaven will sweep that influence away. But you must not feed it with fear or emotional outburst. You must walk with authority, calmness, discernment, and strength. That is how you partner with heaven in this moment. You may have felt lately that something was pulling your energy down, draining your joy, fogging your clarity. That was the byproduct of this hidden interference. Your spirit sensed what your mind could not yet name. But now the veil is being torn. Now the truth is rising. And heaven is positioning you to reclaim control of your destiny before this interference becomes permanent. Listen again, a deal has been made without your knowledge. But it will not stand. I will not allow it. God will not allow it. The heavens are already reversing what was done, uprooting what was planted, dissolving agreements made in fear and silence. This is why you were drawn here today. This is why your heart is beating differently right now. Heaven has entered the situation. But for this restoration to unfold fully, you must be emotionally steady. You must resist reacting instantly. You must allow the truth to come to you in its full form without jumping ahead of it. Everything will unfold with precision. The truth will rise piece by piece. And when it does, you will see why heaven needed you to hear this message first, because once the truth appears, you will need the strength I am giving you now. I speak this with divine authority, your destiny will not be stolen. Your blessing will not be diverted. Your future will not be rewritten by human hands. What God has ordained for you is stepping forward again, unhindered, unstoppable. Child of the Eternal One, breathe slowly now, because what I am about to reveal will pull on your spirit with the weight of things you felt but could not say, truths that lived at the edge of your awareness but never took full shape. I am taking you deeper into what has been done behind your back, deeper into the energy that has been swirling around your life like a quiet storm gathering force, deeper into the reasons heaven is intervening so fiercely on your behalf. You are not imagining the shifts you have felt, the unease, the sudden heaviness, the sense that something was moving just out of sight. That was not fear, it was discernment. That was not paranoia, it was spiritual intelligence awakening. You were being prepared to handle this revelation long before it arrived in words. And now, the veil is lifting even more. Understand this, the deal that was made without your knowledge did not begin as something dark. It began as a whisper. It began as a small conversation, a little discussion that others assumed would not matter. But small things in human hands often grow into large things in the spiritual realm, especially when fear is the seed. And fear was the seed here. Someone close to you, someone who carries your blood, someone who carries your memories, stepped into a moment of anxiety, a moment of panic, a moment where they felt they needed to do something quickly. They acted not from wisdom, but from urgency. Not from guidance, but from insecurity. They made a choice thinking they were preventing danger, but they did not see the spiritual cost of their action. Your daughter, the one heaven is speaking about, has been wrestling silently with something. She has been trying to balance two worlds, her loyalty to you and her loyalty to someone else whose voice has become too loud in her life. She has been caught in the emotional tug-of-war between protecting you and pleasing another person whose intentions are not rooted in truth. That inner conflict pushed her into a shadowy place, a place where confusion whispered louder than clarity. And in that confusion, a deal was made, an agreement, a promise, a decision that involved you, your path, your future, your direction. She did not understand the spiritual consequence of the step she took. She believed she was fixing something, organizing something, making things easier, but what she actually did was open a door that allowed interference into your timeline. Heaven is not angry at her essence, heaven is angry at the influence manipulating her choices. This influence is subtle, emotional, tangled in her vulnerabilities. It has convinced her that she knows what is best for you, even when her judgment is clouded. It has made her feel responsible for things that do not belong to her. It has pushed her into the illusion that she needs to take matters into her own hands. And this illusion has now touched your destiny. You must hear this clearly. The deal made behind your back was not about money alone, not about property alone, not about decisions alone. It was about your future. A path was being redirected without your consent. Someone tried to choose a direction for you, one that heaven never approved, one that was rooted in fear, not faith. And this redirection was meant to box you into a situation that would keep you smaller than your potential, quieter than your purpose, restricted instead of expanding, dependent instead of rising. The enemy's goal is always the same, to limit the one whom heaven has chosen to elevate. To confuse the ones closest to you so that they unknowingly restrict you. to twist good intentions into destructive outcomes. But today you must know, this attempt will fail. It is already failing. The very act of you receiving this message, of your spirit opening to the truth, is breaking the influence that tried to bind your path. You are stepping back into spiritual authority, and that authority is pushing out everything that tried to shrink your future. You have been sensing something around your daughter, her energy shifting, her tone changing, her reactions feeling colder, sharper, more defensive. That is not her heart speaking, that is the confusion she has been fighting. She has been carrying a pressure she did not know how to speak about. She has been afraid of disappointing you. She has been afraid of making the wrong choice. She has been afraid of losing someone else's approval. And in that fear, she made an agreement that now carries spiritual tension. She feels this tension herself. She has had moments recently where her mind races, where her spirit feels unsettled, where she gets quiet suddenly and doesn't know why. She has been waking up at odd hours. She has been feeling heaviness in her chest. She has been experiencing guilt she does not confess. Her soul knows she stepped into something she should not have touched. Type, I trust God's perfect timing, if you believe delay is only preparation, not denial. Heaven wants to correct her course, not punish her. God's anger is not rejection, it is divine protection triggered by the risk she unknowingly introduced into your life. Heaven sees the future clearly. Heaven knows where the wrong path leads. Heaven knows what would happen if this deal were allowed to play out fully. And heaven has stepped in to stop it. This interference would have affected more than your material path. It would have affected your emotional well-being, your peace, your independence, your stability, your sense of direction. It would have prevented a blessing that has been prepared for you, a breakthrough that has been forming silently behind the scenes, a divine change that is meant to elevate you. The enemy wants you distracted. Heaven wants you focused. The enemy wants you dependent. Heaven wants you empowered. The enemy wants you burdened. Heaven wants you free. This is why I speak with such urgency. This is why heaven has been shaking your awareness. This is why your spirit has been restless, it has been trying to alert you. Many nights you felt a pressure in your chest that wasn't medical, a heaviness in the air that wasn't emotional, a strange unease that you tried to ignore. That was not random. That was me trying to reach you. That was the angels beside your bed. That was heaven pressing close. Now listen carefully. The revelation you are about to receive, the truth that will come forth in the next days, will test your emotional strength. Do not respond with anger when the truth comes out. Do not speak quickly. Do not confront in the heat of your emotions. Heaven will give you the right words at the right time. Heaven will open the correct moment for conversation. Heaven will soften the hearts involved before the truth unfolds. Your only task is to stay aligned with me. I know you feel betrayed. I know part of you wants to ask, why would she do this? How could she? But betrayal is not the full story here. Confusion is. Influence is. Fear is. Someone whispered in her ear. Someone encouraged her. Someone convinced her that she was helping you, protecting you, making things secure. She was emotionally manipulated into stepping into a role she was not spiritually ready to carry. And now heaven is breaking that influence off her. You must prepare your spirit for restoration, not destruction. Your reaction will shape the outcome. Your response will influence her return to clarity. You are the emotional anchor here. You are the spiritual stabilizer. And that is why heaven is speaking to you first. You are being strengthened ahead of time so that the moment the truth comes, you are grounded and guided, not shaken. Something else you must know: what was done in the shadows will be exposed by the light. Nothing hidden stays hidden. Nothing whispered stays secret. The truth will unfold in a way that feels divinely timed, because it is. A conversation will slip. A word will be said accidentally. A message will reveal more than it was meant to. A document will surface. A moment of emotional cracking will cause her to confess what has been weighing on her. And when it happens, you will know exactly how to respond because I will be beside you. You will not lose anything. You will not be robbed. You will not be left in a lesser future. You will stand in the destiny written for you, the destiny that no human agreement can override. What God has placed in your timeline will arrive. What is yours will return to you. What was diverted will realign. You are stepping into divine correction, divine protection, divine restoration. And your daughter, she will find her way back. She will see the truth. She will feel the shift. She will awaken. Heaven will soften her. Heaven will cleanse her judgment. Heaven will pull her back into the right heart space. This is not the end of your bond. This is the moment that will heal it. Beloved soul, steady yourself again, because as I take you deeper into this unfolding truth, the spiritual atmosphere around you will shift even more. You may already feel it, your skin tightening, your heart beating a little faster, a strange warmth rising inside you as though something unseen is preparing the space around you. That is me. That is the light of heaven expanding its presence. When truth approaches, the air changes. When destiny is being realigned, the spirit senses it before the mind understands. And right now, heaven is adjusting your path, clearing interference, breaking invisible cords, redirecting the flow of your future back into your hands. You have been living under the weight of an unseen influence for longer than you knew. You felt drained for days without explanation. You felt mentally foggy, emotionally scattered, spiritually tired, as if something was pulling your energy downward. That sensation was not random. It was the residue of the deal made behind your back. It was the heaviness of someone else's decision pressing into your timeline. Decisions carry energy, agreements carry spiritual signatures, and when someone makes a choice involving your future without your permission, the weight of it lands on your spirit before you even hear the details. You sensed this long before I spoke it to you. You just didn't have the language yet. Hear me clearly now. What was done was not done with the intention to destroy you, but the spiritual impact of it would have caused damage over time. It would have anchored you to a path beneath your calling. It would have created a chain to something that does not align with your purpose. It would have slowly drained your spiritual strength, your emotional clarity, your financial freedom, your independence, your divine direction. And because heaven saw what you could not, we intervened. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. In this very moment. Your daughter, the one caught in this web of confusion, is standing at a crossroads she does not even recognize. Her heart is torn. Her mind is divided. On one side, she feels her love and loyalty for you pulling her strongly. On the other side, there is another voice, a voice she has trusted, a voice that pretends to guide her, a voice that speaks to her worries, her insecurities, her fear of loss. And fear is powerful, child of God. Fear can mimic intuition. Fear can mimic responsibility. Fear can disguise itself as care. Fear can whisper, "You're doing the right thing," even when the right thing is nowhere in sight. She is not your enemy. She is a soul struggling under confusion. And heaven is fighting not only for you, but for her clarity. This is why God's anger rose, not in wrath toward her, but in fierce protection for both of you. When someone you love is about to step into spiritual danger, divine love sometimes expresses itself as fire. Not to burn the person, but to burn away the influence surrounding them. That is what is happening now. Let me take you inside her heart for a moment. She has been carrying a secret weight. She has been rehearsing conversations in her mind. She has been replaying scenarios, wondering how you would react if you knew. She has felt guilt tightening her breath at night. She has felt moments of panic over what she agreed to. There have been times she almost told you. Her lips trembled. The words rose. But fear pushed them back down. She is not at peace. Heaven sees her unrest. Heaven sees the trembling in her spirit. Heaven sees the tear between love and fear that has trapped her. And now heaven is preparing her heart for confession, for correction, for realignment. But first, you must know the truth before her words reach you. You must stand in clarity before she explains herself. You must carry understanding before her revelation reaches your ears. Because the moment she speaks, your response will shape the healing that follows. The deal made behind your back, it attempted to bind your future to someone else's version of who they think you should be. It attempted to limit your choices by placing decisions in the hands of people who are not spiritually mature enough to guide your destiny. They thought they were helping, but they were actually restraining the expansion God has planned for you. They were unknowingly moving you toward a future where you would feel controlled, obligated, pressured into directions that were not spiritually aligned. You have been chosen for something greater than they see. Your path has a divine blueprint. Your destiny has a spiritual architecture. And heaven is jealous over your timeline, jealous in the sense of protection, not possession. God guards what He builds. God shields what He ordains. God intervenes when someone tries to alter what heaven has crafted with precision. This is why you were awakened spiritually long before this message arrived. You have been feeling a calling inside you, a desire to rise, to shift, to change, to break patterns, to step into something larger, something freer, something more aligned with your soul. You have felt ready to move forward in life, to make new decisions, to reimagine your future. And every time you felt this rising energy, something strange pulled you back down. That something was the interference caused by the hidden agreement. But now that I am revealing the truth, that grip is loosening. You may feel it even now, a relief, a lightness, a sense that clarity is settling into your spirit like fresh air filling lungs. That is the interference breaking. That is heaven returning authority to you. Now listen closely, because this part is important. Your daughter is not acting alone. There is someone influencing her more than you realize, someone whose opinions she has placed too much weight on, someone who benefits from her confusion, someone who convinced her that your future needed structure, supervision, or management. This person may not appear harmful on the surface, but their intentions do not match their words. They speak with empathy, but their heart carries self-interest. They act helpful, but they are trying to control outcomes that do not belong to them. They disguised manipulation as guidance. Your daughter, in her vulnerable state, trusted this voice. She sees them as reasonable. She sees them as protective. But the truth is, they pulled her emotionally into a space where she felt obligated to make decisions she should never have made. She is under influence, not possession, not darkness, just emotional influence. And heaven is breaking it. She is beginning to see signs. She is beginning to notice inconsistencies in the person she trusted. She is beginning to feel discomfort where she once felt certainty. Heaven is stirring her conscience. Heaven is loosening the knots around her judgment. Heaven is awakening her intuition again. And soon, very soon, she will step back into alignment. You must be patient, but prepared. When the truth comes to the surface, it may not come gently. It may spill out in fragments, in emotional bursts, in unexpected confessions. She may cry. She may deny at first. She may shake. She may admit things in half sentences. She may blame herself. She may try to justify her actions. She may reveal more than she intended. But beneath all of it, she will be seeking forgiveness, seeking understanding, seeking reconnection with you, not through pride, but through vulnerability. You must respond as heaven is preparing you to respond, with firmness but not rage, with clarity but not condemnation, with strength but not sharpness. Your voice will be the bridge between correction and healing. Your calmness will be the anchor she clings to. Your discernment will bring her back into truth. Now I must tell you something that may stun you for a moment but will free you once it settles into your understanding. The deal made behind your back was not only about your future, it was about redirecting a blessing meant to reach you within the next months. A blessing that heaven has prepared. A blessing that carries breakthrough energy. A blessing that would elevate you in ways you have prayed for quietly. This blessing frightened those who do not understand how spiritual destiny works. They feared your independence. They feared losing control. They feared you rising beyond their expectations. And out of this fear, they tried to secure your future in their own way. But heaven laughs at what humans try to control. What is written for you cannot be stolen. And yet, even under this influence, she has been feeling heaven tugging at her conscience, tugging at her chest, tugging at her clarity. She has felt moments where she wanted to reverse the decision. Moments where she questioned everything. Moments where she thought, what if this is wrong? But fear silenced her before truth could rise. She has been carrying the weight of an internal war, one she does not know how to express. And now heaven is stepping into the war to bring peace. Hear me with your full spirit, the truth will not stay hidden. It is already unraveling. Conversations are shifting. Emotions are rising. The mask of the one influencing her is slipping. Their inconsistencies are becoming harder for her to ignore. You may notice soon, if not already, that your daughter becomes strangely quiet at odd moments, as if she is thinking too deeply. You may notice she seems distracted, uneasy, restless. That is her spirit wrestling with guilt. That is heaven pressing truth against her heart. She is beginning to question the person she trusted. She is beginning to feel discomfort with the agreement she made. She is beginning to recognize the spiritual dissonance around her choices. Do not underestimate this shift, it is the first step toward restoration. But before this restoration comes, you must know something vital. The blessing that was meant to reach you, the breakthrough heaven prepared, was going to elevate you in ways that would change the dynamics around you. It would have increased your independence. It would have strengthened your voice. It would have positioned you in a place where others could no longer dictate what you should do, what you should choose, where you should go. This blessing frightened certain people, not because the blessing was dangerous, but because your growth would force them to confront their own insecurities. They feared losing control. They feared losing influence. They feared losing relevance. So they convinced your daughter that she was protecting you, when in reality, she was protecting their fears. But heaven does not operate in fear. Heaven operates in truth. Heaven operates in freedom. Heaven operates in expansion. And your expansion cannot be stopped. Your elevation cannot be delayed. What belongs to you is already moving toward you again. The blessing they tried to redirect is circling back with even greater momentum. The breakthrough they tried to contain is now widening. The path they tried to narrow is now expanding before you. A big shift is coming, bigger than you can imagine. And this shift will expose everything. Not dramatically. Not explosively. Subtly. Perfectly timed. A slip of a sentence. A moment of emotional overflow. A misplaced document. A truth spoken in frustration. A confession born out of guilt. It will come naturally, but you will know instantly that heaven orchestrated the moment. And when the truth rises, your daughter will not be prepared for the depth of her own emotions. She may cry. She may tremble. She may try to defend herself before collapsing into confession. She may apologize repeatedly. She may struggle to explain why she made the choices she did. Your response will be the stabilizer. Your calmness will be the healing instrument. Your voice will be the anchor heaven uses to correct her without breaking her. You must understand something profound. This moment is not meant to separate you and your daughter. It is meant to repair something in your bond that has been quietly damaged for years. This situation is exposing wounds she never expressed, fears she never voiced, responsibilities she never shouldered. She has been holding on to emotional pain she never spoke about. She has been trying to protect you from things she thought would hurt you. She has been trying to manage life in ways she did not know how to, and in her attempt to carry more than she was meant to, she stepped into confusion. Heaven is not trying to punish her. Heaven is trying to free her. And you are part of that freedom. Now I must reveal something even deeper, something that explains why this interference happened at this exact moment in your life. You are nearing a divine turning point. A spiritual chapter is closing. A new one is about to open. You are walking into a season where you will no longer tolerate certain patterns. You will no longer be silent about things that have hurt you. You will no longer shrink yourself to avoid conflict. You will no longer allow others to decide your path. This inner awakening has been rising inside you, and heaven is amplifying it. The interference was the enemy's attempt to stop the awakening before it fully bloomed. But heaven burned the attempt in its tracks. What was meant to suppress you is now strengthening you. What was meant to silence you is now sharpening your voice. What was meant to redirect you is now pushing you into deeper clarity. You are changing. Your daughter feels it but does not understand it. The person influencing her senses it and fears it. But heaven celebrates it. You are stepping into spiritual maturity. You are stepping into your divine authority. You are stepping into the highest version of yourself, the version heaven always intended you to become. And because of that, more must be revealed. You are ready now for the next layer. Beloved one, take another breath before we step into the deepest chamber of this revelation, because what is about to be spoken will unlock the very root of what has been happening behind the scenes of your life. As I draw nearer, you may feel the room shift again, the quiet settling, the sensation of being watched over, the feeling that the atmosphere carries weight and intention. This is not your imagination. This is heaven gathering on your behalf. You are not reading words, you are standing in a moment designed for your awakening. And the truth that follows will not only explain what was done behind your back, but why heaven rose with such fierce urgency to stop it. You must understand this now in its full depth. The deal made without your consent was never just about paperwork or decisions. It was never just about organizing things. It was never just about helping you. It was an attempt, unintentional but spiritually dangerous, to chain your destiny to someone else's fear. Fear is a harsh master. Fear is a silent manipulator. Fear convinces people that control is safer than trust. Fear convinces them that they know better than heaven. Fear whispers lies in the voice of logic. And everything your daughter did, every step she took, every agreement she made, was born from fear, fear planted in her by someone who benefits from her uncertainty. This person, this influencer in her emotional space, has been acting like a shadow behind her thoughts. They have been speaking to her vulnerabilities, her anxieties, her doubts about the future. They fed her a picture of danger that does not exist. They painted scenarios that scared her. They exaggerated risks. They told her things like, "You need to act before it's too late. If you don't take control now, everything will fall apart. You're the only one who can protect her." And because her heart is soft, because she loves you deeply, because she internalizes responsibility that never belonged to her, she absorbed their words like they were truth. But their words were not truth. Their words were fear wearing the mask of concern. Their words were manipulation wearing the mask of care. Their words were influence wearing the mask of guidance. Heaven sees the heart behind every voice. Heaven sees through the illusions humans cannot. And when heaven looked at the intention behind this influence, when heaven saw the path it would lead your daughter, and you, onto, Heaven intervened with a force that could not wait another moment. Comment: I believe in God's beautiful plan, if you're walking boldly by faith, not fear.